Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously wherever you are in the world. So, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? So, it's 4 minutes past 1. In our old afternoon, in our old Brummyland Martelish babies, and it's been peeing down for most of the day. I managed to take my beautiful, delicious little Ruby Tuesday, my beautiful, delicious little Maisie Moo. She came along as well for a quick walk before it started peeing down again, Martelish babies. Nobody minds any rain, but not effing every day. Okay, Martelish babies. And of course, I'm not the only one to moan about it. 3, 2, 1, my juice little lights. Thank you, little lights, you delicious and bright. Honeysuckle. Now then, Martelish babies, so there's still 2 lights remaining, but we must remember the batteries. Okay, Martelish babies, now then. Can you hear her? She's on a spin. My beautiful little washing machine. Now then, Martelish babies. Anyway, there'll be enough time before I finish my video. You know, she'll still be running for a little while yet. Okay, she was on 80. I think she's on about 40 now. Okay, my delicious little babies now then. So I do have a number of videos today, my delicious little babies. I thought, well, shall it wait till tomorrow? And I thought, no. I thought I must tell you about it today. There we are, my delicious little babies, on the 7th of February 2026. Now then, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, baby, say you love me. 5, 6, 7 times. 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm just gonna keep on trying till you are mine. You know what I mean, Martelish babies? What year was that song? Gloria Estefan. You know, there's so many singers now, Martelish babies, that you just never hear of. Have you noticed that, Martelish babies? However, you do hear of certain others who others like to bring from behind the curtain. Do you know what I mean, Martelish babies? Okay, for very sadly, whatever reason, you know, they have to endure stood on the stage. Do you know what I mean, Martelish babies? Anyway, so the first one, this video, Martelish babies. Okay, this is just over 20 minutes long, so it's not long. Martelish babies. Okay, none of these videos today I would regard as being very long. Okay, Martelish babies. This uploader happens to have 634 subscribers, Martelish babies. Okay, and you know, please, if we can, there we are, to get the numbers up. And with anybody not in that way, okay. But let's try to get these numbers up, okay, for the uploaders. Now, I'll repeat this again. For many, it's usually one-offs that I advertise, and then I just leave it, and then somewhere down the line, you know, it'll either come up on my feed, different uploaders, sorry, and then I'll notice, for many, actually, there we are, that their numbers do start to rise. Rise and shine. Gotta get up, it's 10 to 9. Okay, my delicious babies, now then. So this uploader, I've flipping forgotten. Oh, what's it called now? I've only flipping forgotten to write it down, my delicious babies. Look at that. Oh. Oh. You know what I'm going to have to do, my delicious babies? I'm just going to have to tell you, okay? It's something past. I'm sure. I can't remember now. Right, okay. If you could please and thank you, my delicious babies, because these are all on YouTube, okay? What's happened to me washer? Just one sec, my delicious babies. I'll just pop you on pause, please and thank you. I'm sorry about that, my delicious little babies. I was wondering what was happening. You know what? I was mistaken. It wasn't 40 minutes. It then went to 1 minute. And now it's on a spin 15 minutes. Okay, my delicious little babies. I'm awfully sorry about that, okay? It's just that I have to keep an eye on my beautiful little washer, you know what I mean? Now then, my delicious little babies, if you was a please and thank you, type in 18, the numbers, 54, 1854. These are all spaces. The real purpose of rose windows, they were frequency lenses. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you. If you could please and thank you, type it into YouTube, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest. I really hope that ones do. 1854, the real purpose of rose windows, they were frequency lenses. Yes, my delicious little babies. Now, I want to tell you something very quickly because of all the videos I've got to get through. So we've got to go backwards now. Okay, my delicious little babies, you know, in time. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, I was told actually, and to be fair, I haven't seen her for years, you know, but she's a fantastic medium, and she was actually excellent at, you know, like removing, let's just say, negative spirit that they attach themselves, you know, to somebody who, you know, maybe is feeling, there we are, very down or something like that. And sometimes it can attach itself and sometimes it can create there we are, a lot of havoc. Okay, my delicious little babies, I've had a couple of mankind in my decades come to myself, my delicious little babies, okay? And, you know, to... let's just say found a way, because I mean these, bless them, they were being dragged out the beds. There we are, no joke. Swear down, I'm telling the truth. Okay, my delicious baby, so had to find a way to there we are, to remove whatever was going on there. Okay, my delicious little babies, which of course there we are, I can do myself. There we are, with no trouble at all. Okay, my delicious little babies now, but she was excellent at it as well. But I always remember her saying, that doesn't mean no, just got an itch. I always remember her saying years ago to myself, and that's what jogged me noddle, my memory, my delicious little babies. She said, you will be going somewhere. I'm not going to say where it is, my delicious little babies, because as we know, I'm not talking about you, my delicious little babies, but there's always somebody hearing, there's always somebody seeing. And if you tell it too much, okay, there we are, then who knows what they can do with this. Okay, my delicious little babies, and I already know a long time. Okay, my delicious little babies. So let's get back to the matter in hand. So anyway, and she said, you'll be going somewhere, and it is a church. And I remember her saying to me, I can remember this conversation now, because we were driving through somewhere else. I was driving, and it just came to her, bless her. And she said, you will be, what was it, diagonally to these, the glass in this church, which happened to be red, and it'll be diagonal, and it's a spiritual thing. But she said it's a place that at some point I would be going to, okay? And it's all to do with, well, it's to do with myself, okay, my delicious little babies anyway, but I cannot say. I would like to, but I cannot, okay, my delicious little babies. But I was rather taken aback, actually, when she said it to myself. Anyway, but it just reminded me of something, what she said. Okay, my delicious little babies now then. It's all to do with my my little journey. Well, I won't say it's a little journey. It's been a very flipping long journey, actually, my delicious little babies, you know, especially when you are a professional tarot reader, clairvoyant. I do have a medium ability, you know, clearly. And there we are. And for the fact that I'm a qualified angelic healer. Well, I've always been a healer, but since 2017, you know, I went and done this course. It was magnificent. You know, anybody who's really into the spiritual side, I would really advise ones, there we are, taking a look at these courses. But I feel it's only for somebody, there we are, who is very genuine. Okay. There's no point going there and saying to yourself, not that you would, my delicious babies, but some do. I've seen some when I went on my course. Believe me on that one. Okay, my delicious little babies. I could spot them from a mile off. You know, where they just want to get the certificates so they can charge the ching, 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 you know, like for myself. I don't know, it may have changed now. It's been years back, but I mean, I can charge 30 ching, ching, ching for an hour. My delicious little babies, do you see what I mean? Okay. Excuse me, sorry, but you can only heal for a certain time. If it's very severe, it's a case where coming out the room, have a little rest just for a matter of minutes and go back in and repeat the process. My delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But that is severe cases. There we are, that this happens with. Okay, my delicious little babies. So yeah, so it just sent me noddle back. Anyway, my delicious little babies, let's move on to the next one. So the next one, my delicious little babies. Very interesting video to take a listen to, my delicious little babies. Then you see how it all, you know, has mapped out. There we are. The way that these, there we are, shall we say, wanted it to map out. Now, this one here, my delicious little babies, okay? Now, this never came up on my feed, okay? And this uploader happens to have 156,000 subscribers. Now, this uploader is called capital E. Like I said, these are all on YouTube, my delicious little babies. Capital E, Ethan, space, capital M, Minnie, as in Minnie Mouse. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'll repeat that again. Capital E, Ethan, space, capital M, Minnie, okay? And this is a house. What your man here does, from what I gather, from what I've seen, some of his other little videos, I've just clicked on and clicked off again, okay? He goes round, they're like, what does he class them as? Time capsules, okay, my delicious little babies. Now, this one here, this house has been untouched since 1975. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, so there's the odd thing in the house, my delicious little babies, like a lamp, or you've got a lot of you know, like light fittings, and then if you look at the actual light switches and everything, oh, they're just magnificent. Why am I saying this, my delicious little babies? There we are. There's always a reason for why I say what I say. Okay, my delicious little babies. And I'd like you to take a look at some other houses in the different years, my delicious little babies. There was one with, oh, bless her, you know, our lovely Marilyn Monroe. I felt rather sad, actually, recently, my delicious little babies, because I have known about others, and this is going back decades and decades ago. This was around rather a lot, where men were dressing as women. Okay, my delicious little babies, that went on a long time. It's like if you was to type into YouTube, the theatre was not made as a theatre for the reason that one's spare a thought of. Okay, my delicious little babies, I should have wrote that down. There we are, there for another reason, my delicious little babies. Anyway, the point is, let me get back to the matter in hand. The point is, my delicious little babies, is that I was rather saddened, actually, you know, to feel that our lovely little Marilyn, not in that way, that she was a man. I was rather saddened about that, my delicious little babies. Whether or not this is true, I don't know. I mean, with others, there we are, even in recent years, you can see, there we are, that they are a man as a woman. Do you know what I mean? You can see that they're dressed up, you know. And I've got to be honest, because it's got so great, okay, it's very hard to spot. Mind you, see how bright it went then, my delicious babies. But if you go back decades ago, it was quite hard, there we are, to spot then as well. It wasn't that easy to spot, my delicious babies, anyway. Well, if this is truly the case, well, I feel really disappointed. I mean, because our lovely little Miss Marilyn Monroe, I mean, to be fair, with all the riches, she had a shit laugh, didn't she, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Anyway, so back to the matter in hand. So there's a house, when was it, 1962, this on this Ethan Minnie's channel, and where she never even got to live in it. I do believe, did she pass away this 1962? Anyway, there's a point, there we are, to everything that I'm saying, my delicious babies. It's the years of these different abandoned. Now, our lovely, not in that way, not in that way, I'll go back to this again, our lovely exploring with farters on YouTube, my delicious babies. I should imagine they're up to probably about 400,000 subscribers now. They used to go to all different places, Japan, all different places, okay, my delicious babies, and they would be showing you things. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? They used to go to the asylums that were abandoned. They used to go to so many places, my delicious babies, okay, and they were done telling us to give us enough clues. I advertised them years ago, my delicious babies. Please take a look at their channel. I haven't looked at it actually forever, so I must go and have a look to see, have a butcher's. That's the old-fashioned saying, my delicious little babies, to see what's on their channel now. I hope they're doing super duper well, bless them. Okay, my delicious little babies. Talking about Minnie, there's a lot of Minis, isn't there, my delicious little babies, especially, let's just say, Latin fires in places. You know what I mean, my delicious babies? Does anybody remember that young Ben? Was he in England? I talked about this years ago on one of my videos, my delicious little babies, and his name was Minnie. And what did he used to do? He used to have this, I don't know, this obsession with setting anything on fire, my delicious little babies, for some strange reason. Well, we seem to see it in recent years, don't we, my delicious little babies? Plus the fact that this has gone on years previous, there hasn't it, my delicious little babies? And of course, you know, it's been blamed on climate change. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? And of course, in the process, see, stumbling here, rightfully so. In the process, it's really on the spin now. You'll find that many homes are damaged. Beautiful little animals, wild animals, you know, how they were, had terrible, awful things happen to them. For climate change, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Anyway, this leads me on to my next video, my delicious little babies. So yeah, please take a look. You would actually, I've got to be honest, it make you want to project, you know, to project in a bucket, because if you look at it, you know, it's so beautiful, you know, and you look at some houses were better than others. You got castles, you know, but the light fittings and, you know, and you see where we are now, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've taken away anything that was of style, like stylish. You know what I mean? And then they replace them with poxy flipping light switches, which are square and plastic and lifeless. Okay, my delicious little babies, that's what they were doing. But if you look, for anybody who's into large homes, okay, it would make you feel sick. And this one, because this was uploaded a year ago, you should see the garden at the back. Well, the garden, it's more like a flipping, what do you want to call it? It's more like a flipping large park. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? But, yeah. I mean, if you see it, it was sicking you. And apparently, that house was going to get knocked down. I mean, why knock it down? I mean, what did it have? 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. So for anybody who was into this kind of thing, even in today's times, you'd look at that and you'd think, oh, my life. And they're knocking it down and everything. Do you understand? It's sickening, but why they're doing it? You see, it's ding, ding, dong, dong. Do you see what I mean? I know the reason why. Do you understand what I mean, okay? But they want to replace anything that shows any part of the past, okay? That is certainly one of the reasons, okay, my delicious little babies? But it's rather surprising at how many mansions were abandoned. Okay, my delicious little babies, ones have to really ding, ding, dong, dong, ask themselves a serious question here, my delicious little babies, yes. Just the same as hotels. There we are, different places like this now then. So are they all abandoned? Do you see what I'm saying? There was another video that I seen, sorry, that just reminds me of something. I never clicked on it, I just seen where there's this woman, I do not know where it is, and they've actually built apartments in a shopping, they call it a shopping mall. We call it over here in England a shopping centre, as my fellow English beautiful little babies will also know. But over, so it's got to be in America somewhere. Well, anyway, they built apartments inside the shopping centre, inside the shopping mall. And this video was to do with what it's like to live in an apartment in a shopping mall. Do you see what I'm saying, my little babies? How this rocks and rolls. Okay, I'll say nothing more. I know what I'm talking about anyway. So, talking about weather, this uploader happens to have 22.8 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, and it's called, two words together, capital M, and then the rest in little writing, Mind Seeded. Mind Seeded. That's the upload of my delicious babies. And once again, I do apologise that I forgot to write the flipping uploader. I'm awfully sorry about that. But as soon as you type it all in, the first video that I advertised, you'll see who the uploader is. And they've got a large selection of videos. There we are, my delicious babies to take a look at. Very interesting indeed. Okay, but I'm sure that for many, they just skim across it. Well, I do not feel so, because we need to, you know, match this to this. Do you understand? There we are. Do you know what I mean, my delicious babies? Okay. This video is nearly 14 minutes long that I'm advertising now. And it should read the title, This is Getting Harder to Ignore. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, this is different clips of what's going on. And this is like at the start of 2026 this year, my delicious little babies, okay. It's just awful. There we are, absolutely awful. But when you take a look, my delicious little babies, I mean, my heart goes out to them, not in that way, not in that way. I mean, I'm complaining about the rain. Like I said, I'm not complaining, to do with water. But when it's continuously peeing down every single day, well, it's enough to pee anybody off, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies. So you imagine these poor dear souls. And many, which I've known for days, have been without electricity. You know, the power's out, everything. You got snow, you got icicles, you got, oh my life, you got these. It's like flipping golf balls coming down out the sky. But of course, my delicious little babies, this is climate change, apparently. Okay, my delicious little babies, well worth a watch of that. Okay, and let me tell you, you would feel hunky-dory tickety-boo knowing that you're sitting, there we are, as I do, in a nice warm home. But my heart goes out to anybody in that situation. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, so the next one, my delicious little babies, okay. So this came up on my feed, but I know who this is anyway. This uploader, not in that way, not in that way, is called capital M Michael space capital J Jaco. I'll spell it for you. Jaco. Michael space Jaco. Okay, my delicious little babies. I've seen him long time from years ago. Okay, my delicious little babies, and he happens to have 113,000 subscribers on YouTube. And the video should read, it's a really good video. It's just over, is it 50 minutes or just over 52 minutes? It's something like that, my delicious little babies. That's the longest one. Targeted, this is what the title should read, and almost killed by the deep state. Dr. Carrie Mage. Oh, gosh, I'm sorry, Carrie. Madej, spelled Madej. I remember talking about Carrie, there we are, years back, my delicious little babies. Now, she had, there we are, what I call a book thrown at her as well, my delicious little babies, because she was speaking out all to do with the COVID. She was out speaking about this. Sorry, Martin, baby's kind. Never needed to stumble there. But what did the poor dear woman get in return? You know, not in that way, not in that way. But this is well worth a listen to this video, my delicious little baby's Kai, because she went through it as well. And poor Carrie, you know, when she was interviewing somebody, she was in tears. You know, that is what you call genuine. There we are, genuine emotion. Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody has really moved you by the reality of what they are talking about, what happened in their life, well, you know, if it moves you that much, it will, there we are, bring you to tears, won't it, my delicious little babies, you know, as it would with myself. You know, I mean, I'm not totally made of stone. My delicious little babies, I do have a heart. Okay, my delicious little babies, I can be a bitch, but I do have a heart. Okay, my delicious little babies, but I'm only a bitch if I need to be. Do you know what I mean? I do not make a habit, you know, every day of my life, you know, saying to myself, right, I'm just going to be a bitch every single day. No, I do not. I only behave this way, there we are, if it is necessary. Okay, and in some cases, there we are, it is damn well necessary. You know what I mean? And you have to call out the shout. So if we sit on a camera, could be any uploader, and we sit on a camera, my delicious babies, and we're all smiles and, you know, like I'm as sweet as a nut. You know what I mean, my delicious babies? Well, that's false. And therefore, nobody should be false, in my view. You know, as I always say, never try to pretend to be who you're not. And do not try to ever be like somebody else. Because each and every one of us were born, there we are, unique, there we are, and most beautiful. You know, not in that way, not in that way. We were born most beautiful. And I'll repeat this again, as I say on and off on my channel. You know, as we are beautiful, okay, certain others are not alike in it. Do you see what I mean? Okay, because they do not want any of us to feel that we have a noddle, like we have a lurf. You know, as we'd say, you know, that ones have a brain, you know, or have talents. Do you see what I mean? Okay, but they don't mind using, you know what I'm saying, my delicious little babies, okay? And no matter what this AI will bring, let me tell you, they still, there we are, need us. They try to find somewhere to eradicate us all, but it will never happen. It will never, ever, ever, ever happen. No, 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 no. Okay. And let's not forget that they effed up the first time round with the old lockdown pandemic and the old COVID. You see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Very sadly, I'm not talking about anybody who's passed. No, I am not. Apart from the effers who pushed it. I have no mercy with them. I say bad riddance to pieces of shit, you know, like the ones who were pushing it on their different channels and news readers in the world and things like that now then, who are oh so happy to push it out into the world, who are no longer with us. And I'm not going to say sadly before that, because I'm not sad at all. I'm actually, there we are, highly delighted, because it's one less piece of shit, but there's a number of them, isn't there, my delicious little babies? I'm not very sincere like that. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? I always look at the knock-on effect that it would have had in the world and how many would have been listening to that. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I do not feel sorry one bit. Okay, now then, my delicious little babies. So, yeah, well worth listening to that video as well with Michael and Carrie, bless them. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now the next one, not many more to go. This oh, I forgot to write. Now I forgot to write down how many flipping subscribers. All right, this one here. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now, oh. No. I've wrote it down. My delicious little babies. I wrote down the uploader, but sorry, not how many subscribers. I'm awfully sorry about that. In the old space bar in YouTube, my delicious little babies, this is the uploader. Capital I, ink, then capital O of, then space capital T the, and then space capital P past. So it should read all spaces ink of the past. That's the upload of my delicious babies can. And I always find it fascinating with maps. Okay, my delicious babies, and this video should read just over 10 minutes long. Is this the reason Greenland is making headlines right now? Okay, my delicious babies, so I'm just going to, there we are, repeat this again for you. Shall I? Is this the reason Greenland is making headlines right now? Yes, my delicious babies can. So it doesn't matter what, we know who. And the little lackeys try to do, okay? There's too many. There we are, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? There is absolutely, there we are, too many who are, 2 and 2, there we are, is coming to 4. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? And this is a wonderful thing because it's actually bringing out on the internet and out on YouTube and, all of these uploaders, there we are, who do a lot of research into maps and everything. So this is absolutely fandabidozy in my book. You know what I mean, my delicious babies. Anyway, so it was proven to be, it seems, my delicious little babies. Yes, this is certainly had greenery and flowers and things like this now then. So, of course, my dear dad was correct. But obviously, I mean, why would I say that at such a young age? Do you understand what I mean? But then, so saying that, my dad used to tell me a lot about, the world and, used to show me maps and things like this, which is something that you probably did not know. Well, I'm pretty sure you did not know. But, when I said that, my dad just said, don't ask, don't be daft, Carl, don't ask, daft questions, Carl. Do you see what I mean? Okay, because it's quite obvious. Do you understand what I mean? But for myself, even from such a tiny age, maybe I seen there we are something else in the future for me to come out with that. Do you see what I'm saying, my delicious little babies, okay? And, because it just made me ask that question, that was all. Okay? Well, I suppose we could say the same about Antarctica. If you look at that, my delicious little babies, there we are. There's something going on, isn't there? But with this one here, I'm not going to say no more, my delicious babies, okay? I'm not going to say any more, but it's not a long video, but just please take a listen to it, please, and thank you, okay? But it does show different maps, okay? My delicious babies, they are very important, when they try to get rid of all of the old, to bring in a new, so that nobody remembers. Do you know what I mean? My delicious babies, just like to do, bless the beautiful dear little souls, and may our beautiful dear little elderly, may they rest in peace, that have been murdered. Okay, because we've got plenty, sorry, my delicious babies, stumbling there, rightfully so, plenty of murderers, haven't we, my delicious little babies? Of course, for the elderly, they can remember everything back decades. Just like I watched a video the other evening, and that just reminds me of something else, my delicious babies. I only heard a couple of minutes, but it's about this dear lady. And what was she? Was she 100? Is it the right one? And she was taught that the earth was flat. Now, I said years ago on one of our videos, my delicious babies, I mentioned it on a couple of videos actually. See, for myself, I mean, I'm not asking anybody else what to believe. I'm not telling anybody else what to believe. But for myself, I do not believe that the world is round. I mean, I'm not going to sit here rambling on about it, but, I just do not believe it's round. But I mean, if that dear lady there now then, and she's old enough to remember that at school that she was taught that the world is flat, and I've never seen that video before in my life. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? To myself, I said it before and I say it again. If it was round, wouldn't we all be going around like a little hamster in a wheel? Do we? You know what I mean, my delicious babies? Wouldn't we be, you spin me right round, baby, right round? I just do not believe it. And there has been other proof, and they've got rid of that camera because there was a particular camera, I forgot what it's called now, a particular camera, and somebody managed to, it was so super duper excellent, this camera, that it could see straight from, what do they call it, 3,000 miles away or whatever, right? And they could clearly see, another country. So I do believe my delicious babies, we've been allowed to, but they've got rid of that camera. It's been discontinued. Yeah. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? And I just believe, there we are, because this is all coming now, there we are, thick and fast, my delicious babies, okay? They're not sure what to do now. I do not give a fiddler's F what anybody tells myself. They can rock and roll on, Tommy, for 2030. This is not going well for them. No, it isn't. You know what I mean? Why do they want to do all these very nasty and awful things to us? I'll tell you the reason why, my delicious babies, okay? Because instead of just blending in with us, which there we are, which they could do if they wanted to, just to be sociable. That's my old-fashioned saying, my delicious babies. They do not want to do it because they have been brought into the world to feel, there we are, that they're privileged and that they're better than us. But yet on a daily basis, ones are used for their talents, for their skilled abilities. They're used on a daily basis, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But what happens is that there's only so many who keep the chink, 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 chink and laugh through the damn effing teeth, man. There we are. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? So this is not going well. And the more and more that they're trying to push it, do, 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 do. Ooh, baby, 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 get up on this. Do, 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 do. Keep the vibration. Yes, I get my days, my delicious babies, where some days I can be most serious because it just pees me off what's going on in the world, where I know we could put a stop to it tomorrow, not in a violent way, but we can all put it, together, all of us, we could put a stop to this shart tomorrow, today, in fact. But the problem that we got is that others, very sadly, some mothers do have them, okay? Which is a damn truth. I'm just speaking a damn truth in my camera. They do not want to believe that we are being run by very nasty, putrid mankind. They do not want to hear this. Do you see what I mean? Who's supposedly supposed to lead our countries? Okay, all different governments. You see, no one wants to hear, there's many who clearly like myself, a lot like myself, but you've got others who refuse point blank to believe. Okay, so because of that, they are making our job, there we are, for us who are doing our best, and some very large, colossal platforms are getting the message out, okay? My delicious babies and smaller channels like myself to get this out. It's making it more difficult, there we are, for us. You see what I mean, okay? Because these refuse to come out their bubbles. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? This is what this is about. There we are. This is simple things. This is what this is about. But I will believe, there we are, that we will get there. But if they, the ones running the world, in the little lackeys that they use, if they was to look at life in a different way and say, well, you know what, do we really have to do this to mankind and our beautiful little babies that we call our sons and daughters, and little and large birds, little and large animals, creatures great and small, and our beautiful nature that they like to burn down and chop trees and do whatever else, okay, that apparently they're meant to be saving the planet, okay? If they was to just say to themselves, well, no, we can blend in with everybody else and, we can do our best to try to learn new things now. Do you know what I mean? Okay? But they clearly, it's very clear, they do not like love, the word love. They do not like anything like it. There we are. It's ding, ding, dong, dong, common sense. I do not need to listen to any video to be told this. Okay, it's common sense. Anybody who wants to put nasty, putrid business onto others has clearly, there we are, got issues. There we are, because this is certainly not what our definition of normal is, Martelish babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, the way that others are behaving. Okay, Martelish babies, to the next one. So yeah, this one here, Martelish babies. Yeah. This one here, Martelish babies, okay? This is in England. Now, I tell you what, if I had a car tomorrow, Martelish babies, I'd drive here to Nottingham. Yesterday evening, Martelish babies, in our old England. Yesterday evening, I was, well, it was quite late actually. It went into the early hours of the morning when I was watching this. This is called the Haunted Museum and Oddities in Nottingham, in our old England, Martelish babies. I'm just going to repeat that again for you. The Haunted Museum and Oddities, Nottingham. Okay, and I was watching the early hours this morning, what they called Ouija Brothers, on a YouTube, Martelish babies. I stumbled across them when I was looking for other videos, and yeah, their video with this one, sorry, excuse me, pardon me, Martelish babies, they were having a haunted night, you know, in this museum. Oh, I'd love to go. Anyway, if anybody wants to go, okay, Martelish babies, okay, it's open. What did she say? 7 days a week. The owner. It's open 7 days a week from 11 o'clock a.m. till 6 p.m. Okay, Martelish babies. That's the times that it's open 7 days a week. Oh, I wish I could go. You know, I will go if I had a car. To tell you the truth, Martelish babies, you know what I mean? One day in a week, I would certainly have trapped down there, you know what I mean? Because it's only from where I live. I think it's about 50. It's about 53, 54 miles from Nottingham, from Birmingham, Brummyland, sorry, Martelish babies, to Nottingham. Because I've drove up to Nottingham a number of times, Martelish babies, okay? So yeah, I really wish you know, because anybody else who I know, I mean, plus the fact they're all busy, but anybody else who I know, they're not into what I'm into. Do you know what I mean? I just love to go there. Do you know what I mean? It's like an Aladdin's Aladdin's cave. Sorry, Martelish babies. You know what I mean? It's got lots of different, you know, and it's got oh bless, but it's got real skulls as well. Martelish babies. You know what I mean? There's one called Elizabeth. Anyway, Martelish babies, and yeah, because the woman, the owner, was holding Elizabeth's skull in her hands. Martelish babies. Apparently, Elizabeth gets very jealous. You know, because I do believe that we are in spirit. I'm a firm believer that in spirit, because they were once like you and I. You see what I mean, Martelish babies, okay? I always said, you know, in decades to come, I said, if somebody decided to come to a haunted house, you know, and I happen to be around, you know, in spirit in decades to come, you know, they wouldn't see me coming. I'd just go bang straight at the back of their head if they started taking a pee. You know what I mean, Martelish babies? They do that, you know. Some spirits can be very, you know what I mean? You cannot see them, okay? But let me tell you that some of them can be very aggressive, okay? Because the reason why they're aggressive is because, you know, because they were once like us, but you have some who over-exaggerate and it pees them off. It pees spirit off. It's like I do not like anything to call, you know, haunted and things like that. I would just say that spirit is around, spirits in the house. That is what I would say. And usually, to be fair, Martelish babies, okay, because I've never experienced anything other than, it's usually because I do not take the mickey out of them or anything. I would never do that. Because like I just said, I repeat again, they were once like you and I, okay? They're usually very calm around myself. But like when I've been on what they call ghost hunts, okay, because others exaggerate everything, this is when spirit gets peed off and they start really playing them up. There we are. Do you know what I mean, Martelish babies? Anyway, So yeah, it'd be lovely to go. I will go one day. I want to make a point, and I never even knew it was there, Mads Licht Baby. So it was really good to know that. Okay, and I've got no problem advertising it either. Now then, Mads Licht Baby's last two. Okay, this one here, Middle Nation. So occasionally I do advertise Shahid, King Shahid, Bolson, and the uploader's called capital M middle space capital N nation middle nation spaces. Okay, Marzlichtuk babies. He happens to have 459 subscribers. Marzlichtuk babies, okay, 459,000. Sorry, subscribers. And I'm not going to say the name because it's plastered all over the internet. Okay, this video's just over. I think it's nearly 32 minutes long, Marzlichtuk babies. It's Shahid's latest video. Okay, Marzlichtuk babies, not in that way, not in that way. He was not unique. Yes, Marzlichtuk babies. Just another Western degenerate with money. Yes, with ka-ching, ching, ching. Okay, Marzlichtuk babies. So I'm just going to repeat that again for you. He was not unique, just another Western degenerate with money. Yes, my delicious little babies, okay? So, you see, Shahid, bless him, okay? I will agree with the majority, there we are, of what he says, okay? Some things, clearly, I do not. Mind you, he could listen to some of my videos and he could say, well, yeah, I agree with some of that and I disagree with others. Because, you see, in life, we have to agree to disagree. But if I truly believe that somebody's talking complete and utter effing shat, right, then there's no reason to agree with nothing. And I stand firm. And if I do not believe something, I do not believe it. There is nothing that's going to move my feet left, right, backwards, forwards, up, down. Do you know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, I believe what I believe. That's it. Nobody can tell me nothing else. There we are. And I stand by what I say. Okay, mad delicious the baby, see how light it went. You see what I mean? Okay, but yeah, but certainly I'm on the same song sheet as your man there, and like I just said, not in that way, not in that way. Okay, he tells it. There we are. Ding ding dong dong. Common sense, the way it is. There's plenty out there, mad delicious babies, who haven't got the pound, shilling, pence, dollars, and change, ka-ching, ching, ching. Okay, to go around and live out whatever they live out. There we are. There's plenty who haven't. What about that video that I advertised, was it a couple of months ago now, whatever it was? Gloomy Space Sunday Space Traveller, capitals the start of letters. I think he was on about 3,000 something. He'd done a number of videos, where he went to different places in the world. I'd advertised him. He's now up to, what is it, 16.5 thousand. So there we are. He's done pretty well there. Mind you, I did notice on a video that he did a while back, he seemed to be carrying a co-op bag and wearing a cap. My delicious little babies. So I wonder, there we are, he's been chatting to him. There we are. That was my thoughts, my delicious little babies, because, with my spas, there happened to be rather a lot of co-op trolleys around. You know what I mean? Mad delicious little babies anyway. So I advertised him, to do Greenland, and he was done telling it the way it is. You know what I mean? On YouTube, Mad delicious little babies, he'd done a banging video to do with our Bromyland and how bad it was. Now, since then, other uploaders, because I've noticed ones that'll come up on my feed, okay? I do not mean it nasty against the uploaders, okay, because I do not know them, but let me tell you, it's not a patch on that Gloomy Sunday Traveller. Not a patch. I mean, he did it banging at the right time. There we are, I believe. Okay, my delicious babies. And he was explaining, you'd have businessmen who have got a lot of ching, 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 and then you've got ones who do not have a lot, okay, and then they'll set one homeless against the other, and just putrid things going on, my delicious babies. So for anybody who's not listened to that video, okay, my delicious babies with Gloomy Sunday Traveller on YouTube or Spaces, with 16.5 thousand subscribers to do with our Brumyland, okay, please and thank you, take a listen to it. So, you listen to, Shahid, middle nation. There we are. It's ding, ding, dong, dong. It's all common sense. But of course, how many really pay attention? Now, what was it on Jimmy Dore show? The Jimmy Dore show, the Jimmy Dore, show on YouTube. Martin Babies, what is he up to now? 1.8 million, 0.8 million. Okay. Somebody else has gone on there now saying that Charlie Cork, over there, because I don't like to talk about that either, born in the USA, that he's still alive. You see what I mean? What it is, there's a lot who do not want to believe it. There's also a lot who do not want egg. There we are on the birth races, you know what I mean? They were adamant, totally adamant that somebody's passed. You still got them now. Chat. They're keeping, there we are, they're keeping the story going. The same with this smart little baby's kite. And that sounds like I'm being a bitch. But when you really, there we are, deep down and take a very good look, you got mankind, no matter where you go, who are equally, if not worse. Okay, so we got to really get real here. There we are, my little babies, but that's just my thoughts. That's why I do not want to cover this, but I just wanted to make a point here, my delicious little babies. There we are. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes? And this is a part of what I call the waking up process. Well, it is. One's got to wake up to the fact that there's hoaxes, fake assassination attempts, okay? One's need to wake the effing hell up. There we are, to what is damn well going on, isn't it? Okay? But some run with the narrative because of the ching that they're getting paid now to little babies, okay? So they've been paid to blatantly lie in the camera. There we are. To blatantly lie like giddy gog in their camera now to little babies, you know what I mean? And then, of course, you got others who genuinely, there we are, really genuinely to the heart, they believe the bullshit. There we are. They believe this bullshit. And then you got the others, there we are, who see it for what it damn well is. There we are. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Simple things. Final one. This upload happens to have 161,000 my delicious little babies, okay, on YouTube. Oh, got an itchy, okay? Yes, my delicious little babies, not in that way. This one is called capital T, the space, capital C, Charlie, space, capital W, Ward, I'll spell it for you, A-R-D, Ward, W-A-R-D, and then space, capital S, show. Okay, my delicious babies, the Charlie Ward show with spaces in old YouTube. My delicious babies, of course. He's on different platforms, like, he has his own .com plus Rumble, and they're on different places. Okay, my delicious little babies. Right, I never needed to stumble there. Okay, my delicious little babies. Okay, I've been listening on and off, bless him, dear Charlie, and I hope he's well. He seems to be getting much better, bless, and I hope that his dear little self, his dear little family are all well. Okay, then you got little Drew Demi who goes on, and you got Paul who goes on, but I haven't seen him lately. I wonder what's happened. Anyway, I hope he's well. Not in that way. Anyway, my delicious babies, and the video should read, and it's been uploaded to myself. I think it's 32 minutes long. Charlie Ward, one move that breaks the entire system. Yes, my delicious babies. So I'm just going to repeat that for you again. Charlie Ward. One move that breaks the entire system. Yes, my delicious babies. So we're just going to close our book now. What is this to do with my delicious little babies? It's to do with silver. Okay, my delicious little babies. So anybody who's interested now to do with the silver, there we are, and to do with everything else now, then my delicious little babies, please take a listen to this video, okay? There is actually a Chinese man talking. I think he must have his own channel because I've seen it flash up on my feed. Okay, my delicious little babies, and he explains everything. Okay, my delicious little babies, and that's the end of my video. So I just thought to mention it. There we are today, my delicious little babies. It's not long been uploaded to myself because I am subscribed. Okay, my delicious little babies. So wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. And how I love you so. Okay, my little honey bunnies. And thank you so very much. So thank you for any views, for any likes, and for the occasional comments. It's always so very much welcomed, and I am extremely thankful, and I do appreciate it. At least I know there we are, that somebody is listening to myself. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? But anyway. And you just take care of yourselves now, my little beautifuls, my little lovelies, and please try to take care of others, because we are in a bonkers, crackers, and crazy world. Okay, and it's still very doomy gloomy. Anyway, but at least we're alive. You know what I mean, my delicious babies? So until my next video, you just look after now. Love ya. Thank you. Goodbye.